Hi, welcome back. My name is Liam. I am the founder of Pillar, and all day, every day, I help teams solve operational problems and build workflows to make sure teams can do the right things at the right times. So, I'm currently out and about, as you can probably see. I'm sat in my car and I found this problem on Reddit, and we're going to create a workflow to solve a problem, which is constantly a problem within teams that are mobile. If you have a team that does lots of different things, potentially hundreds or thousands of different things across a day or a week, supervision and coaching, those two things are really difficult because you try to get the information to the person, but you your written policies, the way that you do things may be not physically with the person. They may be in a binder somewhere, and it's just really hard to actually get people to understand what needs to be done properly. So the way that this particular post on Reddit is worded is a way that I hear it all of the time. Okay, so people tell me all of the time we have documented SOPs, which basically means ways of doing things. So we have documented way of doing things. However, a team still asks all of the time, how do I do it? Okay, and that's because they don't have access to the SOP, or they don't have easy access to the SOP. So a lot of the time, a manager or somebody who's created a task or a job will create this potentially really, really good and detailed explanation of how to do it, but it might live on a binder or a shelf somewhere. And that's basically what this person, Funnel Forge, has basically outlined on this post. So there is SOPs. It's not getting to the person. It may be sitting in a Google Drive somewhere. It may not be accessible. Um, Reading it takes too long. But the biggest problem is it's just not with the person who needs to see it when they're carrying out the work. That for me is the most important thing. So I'm going to show you how we would solve for that on Pillar with a Pillar workflow. If you're already using Pillar, this is a great way for you to add some SOPs into the work. If you're not using Pillar and you're wondering what it is, there'll be a link below where you can book a demo, and I'll make sure that I pick that up and we can have a little talk about it. But let's get into it. So I could start actually with AI here. So I could say, let's say an existing process. Let's just keep it really simple and say, create a workflow for my team to record the cleaning of a kitchen oven. Okay, really simple. Everybody would understand what that means, which is why I've used that one. So the AI will basically work out what needs to be done, work out the problem that we're trying to do now, and it creates just a nice simple starting point for us um, for actually cleaning the oven. So this workflow will kind of serve as two sort of purposes now. If you imagine somebody who had to clean the oven, then this would serve as a reminder to do that, because if you worked in a restaurant kitchen or you worked in somewhere else where an oven would be, you probably got thousands of jobs and you're not going to remember to do this without some sort of prompting. So basically, this workflow would be sent to a team task list, let's say, and the team would then pick it up on the mobile, either on a mobile phone or a tablet, and make sure basically that they don't forget to do it, right? If I click on this sort of phone on the right hand side, you'll see that this is actually what it looks like. So we can actually see what this workflow would actually look like. But let's see what the AI has created for us. So we've got a nice piece of written guidance at the top here, which is actually the key thing that I wanted. We've then got a checklist of kind of what needs to be done. Okay, so we've got clean the inside, clean the racks, etc. We've got a photo evidence, which is cool. So we've got some evidence there that that's actually being cleaned, which is great, especially if you've got teams who are out in the field or not sort of close to management. And then we've got a signature, which is a bit of extra validation. That's all fine. I'm not really too concerned on this video about the content. What I am sort of really interested in is this top bit, so this guidance bit. So this is where you can put your SOPs so close to where people actually do the work. So if you think about somebody who's cleaning an oven, if they're a new member of staff or perhaps just a complacent member of staff because they've worked so many hours, etc., they very could easily sort of have an off day and not clean the oven to a standard or forget what the standard is or what, this type of thing. And if you don't have the SOPs close, they just won't be able to follow them, or it won't be as easy. So the AI has actually created a very simple, too simple for me, written guidance piece in here. Now, what we could actually do, step one of an SOP, if you like, would be to actually have some steps, some proper steps in here, okay, where we actually had real life expectations of this is exactly how you clean the oven. These are the chemicals to use. This is the process to use. This is the dilution of the chemicals. These are the sort of the PPE and the gloves and this type of thing that you wear. And by providing all of that right at the top, what you basically will end up with, as we can see on the phone preview here, is step-by-step guidance. So literally the end user, the staff member, can't miss it. Okay, they open this task up, they see what is expected of them and how to do it, and they do not have to go searching through Google Drives and anywhere else which the SOPs may be stored. So that's one way we could do it. We've got that written guidance. Let me just create some space down here. Another way you could do it, if you sort of really wanted to provide more, would be, so we've used the written guidance, we could have photo guidance. So I could actually show somebody the end result. This is kind of like how it should look at the end, or this is where the chemicals are stored, or that type of thing. So not just a written explanation, but actually some sort of photo explanation as well. Lastly, if we really wanted to make sure that the user had everything that they needed, we could actually add a video example in here as well. So I could, let's say I was the manager, I could actually film myself doing a full oven clean, and I could actually drop this in so that when the user actually goes in, if they forget or they're having a bad day, or there's a new member of staff as discussed, they could actually see a perfect oven clean before they did it themselves. Okay, so this is the whole point. I think it's so important that we add the SOPs as close to the work as physically possible. The person who is doing the actual work needs to see the process and what's expected of them when they're actually doing the work. Otherwise, it becomes really, really difficult to, it becomes difficult for them to do it properly, but it also makes them slightly less accountable as well, because you've got that separation between what they should do and what they are going to do, right? So that is how sort of we approach this in Pillar. As I say, I could have worded this could have been worded in so many different ways. There are all sorts of related problems on Reddit around this, and I see this problem every single day. We get this every single day. People emailing us asking how do we actually get people to do work more consistency.